Alright, so today I'm going to teach you guys how to use a car amplifier and subwoofer in your home audio. Now the first thing you need to get is your power supply unit, also known as a PSU. This is what I have right here. They mainly use them for computers, so if you have an old computer lying around, you might try taking it out first instead of buying a new one. They generally are on eBay for around $30. It's not a huge purchase, but hey, if you got one at home, use it. First thing you're going to need to do is locate the main two pins. They're probably going to be the biggest one. This one's labeled P2 and P1. This is a little easy for me. Now, usually it says somewhere on there, like on the back, what each color is and how much its output is. This one can do about half an amp on 5 volts. On 12 volts, it can do 10 to 0.8 amps. And that's pretty good. That's going to be enough for a very small amplifier. But you're going to need a bigger one if you have a larger power that you need. So let's look at this right here. These are the 3 wires you're going to want to locate. Generally they're the same colors as they are right here. Your black as your negative, yellow as your positive, and then these two we'll look at later. Now this right here is simple. You know, black negative, yellow positive. It's just like your battery. Instead of yellow, it's, red in the car. Now these are your 12 volt sources. You're going to use these for your amplifier turn on. So this, you're going to want to connect it to your amplifier at the negative terminal. Let's draw a little side of an amplifier right here. This is your remote turn on. This is your positive battery terminal and your negative. All you simply do is hook up negative to negative and then positive to positive with your yellow wire. Now the remote turn on. This is also a 12 volt positive use, and this is going to need the 12 volt yellow wire. However, in a car you would hook this up to the remote turn on the back of your radio, so it only comes on when your car comes on. In this case, you're going to short that step, I guess you could call it, and you're just going to take a little wire from the positive to the remote. Now when the positive comes on to this side, it's also going to go to the remote. So every time you turn your PSU on, it's going to turn your amplifier on automatically. So that's how you do that part. Now let's look at the other side. Your speaker terminals. This is pretty simple stuff right here. Let's say you have a 2-channel amplifier, plus, minus, plus, minus. Now, all you have to do is hook them up the speakers. So if you got 2 speakers, positive to positive, negative to negative, negative to negative, positive to positive. It's simple. If it's a bridgeable amplifier, you can use 1 speaker. You can generally get about twice the power. You just hook up the positive to one side, the negative to the other. And that's all you have to do. It's really a simple thing to hook up to your home audio system. Now, another thing that you could do, let's look at the other side, where you're going from your receiver. Assuming you do have a receiver hooked up to your TV, that's something you're going to need to use. This is my drawing of a receiver. So you got a receiver hooked up to your TV, and then from your receiver you're going to have, several mid-range speakers, tweeters, that kind of thing, and then your amplifier is for your subwoofer. And that's where we're going to use the PSU, the amplifier, and your subwoofer. So let's look at the back. This is your general receiver for home audio. Again, I was talking about your plus and minus for, let's say you have 2 sets of mid-range. So those are already being used. And let's say you have the second part. There's 2 ways you could do this, and I highly, highly recommend you do it this way. You can buy, audio shops, online, anything. It's called a line converter. And all it is it converts 2 channels into the 2 channels of RCA. So it has splice wires on one side and it has RCA on the other. So all you have to do is hook up these 4 channels to the correct colors of your line converter, which this is like a little box, it's really small, and it goes out into 2 RCA cables. These 2 RCA cables, which you'll recognize right away, look the same as your low input for your amplifier. Here's an amplifier right here. This is right, this is left channel, hook them straight up. And that's all you have to do. Another way to bypass this system if you don't want to do it, which I don't recommend, it could ruin the amplifier, but if you're feeling like this is kind of a cheap project you're putting together, you want to put a lot of money, something you can do is you take your RCA cables and chop off the ends of the connectors. And what you're going to see is, one, you're going to have several wires, separate them, and then you're going to have one single wire in the middle encased in a white tube. This is the same as your positive and your negative, and each wire is going to have the set. Now what you can do is hook these two together, which is like parallel wiring or series wiring. You're going to kind of short them out. So take off the casing of this wire and then just simply ravel around that. Do the same thing on this side. You now have one set of plus and minus. Now that might be kind of confusing, but it does work. So let me go over it again. So you're going to splice open an RCA cable wire. You're going to look for the white insulator, which is going to have one single strand of copper, and then you're going to have a ravelly mess on the outside. So let's just look at one wire at a time. All you have to do is take off the insulator, use an X-Acto knife or something, and then take that single wire and ravel around the negative wire. Do the same thing on this side. You have ravelly wire, straight wire. Take off the straight wire, ravel it with the ravelly wire. And that's all you have to do. And then you have a single set of plus and minus. And you can hook that straight up to the back of the RCA. Or not the back of the RCA, the back of the receiver. So this means you're using one channel for a two-channel amplifier. You're kind of cheating the system. It does work. But a more professional use would be at the line converter and use two channels. So if you guys have any questions about this, just comment them, submit some requests for other videos I can do, give me some tips, anything you want. Just let me know. Thank you for watching.